I'm back now. I'm Josh Kurt. I'm back. Welcome back to my storybook. And I just went to the check. I was just went to my sister's house and checked to see what's going on. And I was not that whole story is off. So Mama told me to go to China house and check on whole store because she got something going on. But I did. But I believe whole store is off. So I didn't turn on that it's off. So I went back home and said, man, it's been a good time. But anyway, I gotta turn off my light right now. Turn on my light right now because it's getting dark. So now I'm gonna continue reading the part two of this book called on this chapter book called How to Fight Racism. So I'm going about to read right now, so I'm gonna continue reading. And I'm just going to continue reading here. I'm going to this page on past 33. All right. Finally, laid out with no study, the Bible talks extremely about national, religion, nationality, culture, and other differences between people groups. Once someone points it out, then it's impossible not to see the desired world in which the biological text was written. Some learners will hear and immediately become gripped by the perspective on the scale, text they never heard before. Others will have to sit with this information for months or even years for it to make sense. In any case, every Christian and any other interested party should have the opportunity to help articulate insights on race and inequality from the pulpit and their chosen leaders. Little portion from the disharmony. Here's the exercise. Think of five philosophers who have helped shape Lord thinking about religion. Write their names down. Then think of five philosophers of color who have had a similar influence. If we had not exposed a philosophers of color, we may be struggling to come up with even one name. In many cases, we don't know about the significant body of work produced by black thinkers and other people of color. There's even a chance we have been discouraged from learning about these delights. But our mis- but our understanding of the world and the Christian's faith suffers for this lack of information. In 1949, black theologian and Christian minister Truman, Howard Dolman wrote his most well-known book, Jesus and This Hollywood. In his, he made a case for Christians to see how Jesus identified with those Bible calls the least of these Matthew 25 verse 45. As Dorman put it, as Dorman put it, the masses of people lie with their backs constitution against the wall. They are the poor, this unhindered, the dispossession, where the world may overlook the people who had their backs against the wall. These are politicians, the people who had the most to teach us about justice. Unfortunately, the disharmonization of the world often had the latest access to formal education, but personally and other platforms that would establish their voices to be heard loudly across the nations. To compound the problem, many lawsuits consider choices and economic and and listen. Unfortunately, the disharmony of the world have often the least access to formal education, book publishers, and other platforms that were unable to their voices to be heard loudly across the nations. To compound the problem, meaning the largely concentrating churches and academic institutions really look to the predominantly of resources of the disseminated as credible sources of knowledge. Instead, the books, sermons, and teachings of the disharmonists are deemed locally suspicious and references to primarily as examples of what not to be done in the lobby. Any reforming in the way people think about race and equality from a Christian perspective must include learning from people who had experiences misogyny and oppositions. These include the voices of people, those who are sometimes called liberations, the lawyers, black liberations, theologians such as James Corn and Albert Calla Jr., along with black womanists, theologians such as Jacqueline Grant and Dolores Wells to deepen the implications of what it means to be black in a white Christian environment. Cole White in his first book, Black Dollars and Black Power, that Christianity was increasing bonus to white rural Americans voters. His work helped to support a movement of academy scholars were questioning this cultural bonus and proposing models of largely in potential for a perspective the racism and measures. Similarly, Latin American, Latino American, African, Negro American, and Eastern Delaware also provide helpful context for the perspective of the poor and the politically opposing as they look to fate to both expand and change their circumstances. Unfortunately, some people have been so conditioned to distrust no white, non-white, or non-European theological sources that they will not even consider the possibility of learning from them. They believe liberal theology delivers for the fundamental misreading of Scripture and its honestly. You may have to contend with these objections as you seek to gain wisdom from no non-white sources in any field, whether dollars or in its total of sciences. It should be self it should be self-evident, but people often need to be reminded that listening to others and even coming to appreciate one idea or part of a system or thought, physicality or dialogue, does not necessarily mean you are endorsing every aspect of that system. We all need to selectively incorporate the velocity systems based on our culture preferences and our opinions. Dialogues developed by people of color should not receive any more or less substantially than those developed by European and white people. I believe there is much to learn from the ideological insights of Palestinians in the Latin peoples and Latino Americans just to name a few. I find it odd that some people seem more willing to learn from the Dolares or slaveholders than the Dolares or the enslaved and employed person. The pursuit of the larceny and talent so popularly of European and white sources is a sub and expansion of white supremacies and should be confronted wherever you teach about philosophy ideals of race and intentional intelligence. Treat racism as it should be treated, like a sin. Here are announcements you almost never see. The Executive Committee has voted on behalf of the SBC to withdraw fellowship from Wally White Baptist Church in Alabama, Georgia, based on sensory evidence of the racial discrimination of Alabama, Georgia, based on clear evidence of racial discrimination. In 2018, the Southern Baptist Convention have voted to officially expel member of churches for racism. White Baptist Church, named after a former pastor, has seen its membership dwindle from more than 200 down to 20 people. The church, located in the major black town of Alabama, Georgia, had agreed to share this building with a black church called New Seasons in what they hope would be a mutual benefit arrangement. But the relationship quickly soared, and the members of Wilding White gave a cold shoulder to the members of New Seasons, despite walking without mandatory. The white churchgoers never wanted to be black members of New Seasons. On Sunday in March, Wally White Baptist Church planning a homecoming service for its former members, and they advised New Seasons that it will have to change the time of their service to allow out to a culminator to usher. The members of New Seasons agreed, but when some black church choirs came early to set up for their service, they were torn away. If they were white, you can go into the church. If you were black, you were not allowed in. The pastors of New Seasons, Marcus Glass, said. In response, local Baptist Association expelled Wally White Baptist Church. Then the Southern Baptist Convention followed suit based on clear evidence of racial discrimination. As Hams once, a spokesperson for the Maryhill Baptist Convention said, we wanted to think this was something besides racism, but it just became overly clear that it became a component to what was going on. We cannot associate with that anymore. What happened to Wally White Baptist Church almost never happens. Clear, disciplinary action in response to racism. While free churches will argue against the idea that racism is a sin, most will not deal with it as such. Too often, racism is treated like an unlikable personality trait, something unsavory but not sinful. If white Christians treated racism as the sin that it is, both people and churches would have to come under church discipline for their racist belief and actions. Instead, people and organizations that act in racist ways can continue as members in good standing at many Christian churches in these mutations to truly raise awareness about the truth of racism. White Christians should be prepared to bring formal charges against those who practice racism in war or dead. I know well this. I know well this principle censor chances. People may not know they are being racist, or they may not intend to be so. It is also difficult to prove that a person or group means to be racist. There may not be hard evidence of such intentions, even if the result is clearly racist, and if a person demonstrates humanity and controllability once their offense is revealed, They should be allowed the opportunity to repent and walk through the process or repel. All too often, however, people broadly clinging to their repel. All too often, however, people broadly clinging to with their blessed. They insist that are right and refuse to change their sentence. In these cases, I suggest following the disciplinary procedure outlined in Matthew 18 and in many denominational standards. Matthew 18 to 15, verse 15 to 20, instructing Christians who had been sinned against to address the offenders one on one, if it's safe to do so. If they change their ways after that, then the matter is done. But if they refuse to admit their fault, then the offending party should then the offending party should come back and lovingly confront the person and witness the witness or truth. If they still refuse to listen, then the matter is to be taken to the entire congregation. If the offender continues to their embarrassment, then they are to be treated like a pagan or a tax collector, someone hostile to the faith or to the community. Like how often was that produced following to address racism in the Christian church in the Jim Crow era? How many Christians showed up to a lecture on Saturday and then went to church on Sunday? How many act as Junos in clear cases when a black person's civil rights were violated but still voted to quit in the 1950s and 1960s? How many sworn people of color in their business dealings at least for 50 losses to dominate to the church in order to fight for racial justice? Racism must not be lightly dismissed. It must be treated as it the evil offense against God and human being that it is. The suggestions give above are just a few of the lot of the ways that justice can indicate that congregations about race and it like and from the biology perspective. Much more remains to be said about the special actions that churches can take to promote racial justice, and I will address that in later chapters. But we should never assure that just because someone says they are a Christian, they know what the Bible teaches about race and equality. Building awareness means experiencing and applying the philosophy teaches of the means of God and what that means for racial justice today. That's the end of the book. Sorry, I just came in for like 15 minutes, but now I'm here though. But now I came out to finish chapter 2 of this book. So now chapter 3 will be to how to explore law racial identity. In this book called How to Fight Racism. I'm Joseph Kurt, and I'll talk to you soon. Yeah.